Okay, to start the cloud, I have placed my 4 pairs. I've got 1 pair here, twist, 1 pair here, twist, and 2 pairs here, twist, twist. And you just want to pay attention to how you're placing your 2 pairs because one of your pairs is going to be your working pair. And to begin, now that they all have a twist, I am just going to work in a cloth stitch. So cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, twist my working pair, place a pin, make sure everything is tensioned properly, and then work my way back. Cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, cross, twist, cross, twist, place my pin, and work my way back in cloth stitch. When I get to the pairs that need to be joined, when I work my way around the spiral, I don't need to twist here because they're going to be joined on the other side. So you can twist, but you don't have to. And I'll just keep working my way around the spiral, and I'll be back to show you how I join where there's a join in the spiral. Before I get there, another thing I should mention is that I use pins as spacers, especially if I'm using really thin thread like this sewing thread. I'll use pins as spacers just to make sure that in the end, all of my threads are laying where I want them to. So don't be afraid to use lots of pins. One other thing that I think I should mention is that because we're working in a spiral and we have to turn our cookie pillow quite a bit, I'm going to push in the pins that are on the outside edges, the pins that are part of the pattern, not my spacer pins, but the other pins, because those will need to stay throughout the entire process. But at a certain point, I can take out the spacer pins. Okay, this is the first join. I'm going to take out the pin. I use my mini latch hook. The tricky part is just to get it through both. And you want to get it through and past where the hook or the latch part is. Whoops. And then you're going to grab your threads, your working pair. You can close the latch hook, but it should close as you pull anyway. Pull it through. Lengthen these a little bit. Make sure I'm not hooked on anything. And I'm going to put both of my pairs through the hook that I have here, or the loop that I've made. And carefully pull it tight, and I'm going to place my pin in again. I feel like I may have missed. Oh, I did. I missed one, which isn't a problem. I'm just going to grab my hook again. So that I can go and get it one more time, and that way it's hooked through both, and I haven't created a gap or like an extra loop that I can't, whoops, sorry, that I can't do anything about later. So now it looks like I have both. There we go. Now it's through both of those loops from the first part, and I'm placing this pin just so that I make sure that the tension stays correct throughout, and then I can keep going. So I'll be back. I'm going to work my way all the way around, and I'll be back to show. So this is the top part, and it goes all the way around to here, and I'll be back and show how to attach your threads once you get to the end. I just want to give you a tip. When I get all the way around to this edge, this is when I go in and I start lifting out spacer pins and making sure that I have a flat surface to work with for this whole area, because it'll help me be able to move these bobbins all the way over and back and forth if I have a flat surface here. So I'm going to take the time to take these pins out on this upper portion, and then I can lay down my cloth and my bobbins will be able to move more easily. Okay, I'm at the part where I'm going to join this part of the cloud to itself, and this is my working pair that I've been using. I'm actually going to reuse this pin right here, and I'm going to work this working pair into it. Well, I'm going to attach it with my latch hook. Okay, that took some finessing, but I did finally get that through. And now I can replace that pin. I'm going to trim this, but leave enough that I can make a surgeon's knot with it. Okay, let me move this a little bit. So now for the rest, you'll take them in pairs, and whichever one is on the bottom. So you just have to determine. You want one on the bottom. That's the one. I'm going to trim. Here, I'll show you. Let me back this up just a little bit more. I want to trim this. It'll make it easier to pull it through. And you want enough length so that you can make a surgeon's knot at the end. So I'm actually I'm gonna use my latch hook. I'm gonna grab that one thread and pull it through. Here's my other thread. I'm gonna trim this. And then I have to, very carefully, I'm going to make a surgeon's knot right on that edge. The next pair I'm going to bring through this pin in order to secure it. And you can do a knot on these ends as well. Make a knot one way and then the other way. That's one way to do it. And then trim these close. Put a little dot of glue on it as well. And this pair, I will attach. Oh, I want that one to stay. Push that one in. This one can come out. That's where I'm going to attach this pair of threads. I'm going to loop it through there as well. There we go. And now we're ready to start the next swirl in the cloud. The way you begin the second swirl is the same, but you put your working pair on the left side instead of the right side. So you have all of your pairs, they all have a twist, and then you just start working your cloth stitch across. When you get to the end, twist, place your pin, and work your way back. And everything else is the same. Okay, I have finished the second swirl, and what I'm going to do is, again, with the working pair, I'm going to attach it with my latch hook into, I'm going to reuse a pin. I'm going to do a knot where I put one thread over, and then on the next knot, whoops, I put the other thread over. I'm going to cut this to get it out of my way, and then I'll trim it close afterwards. And let's see, I just want to make sure, I feel like these are both down. What I want to do is tie this working pair, or not this working pair, this passive pair, the same way I did on the other side, where one of these is going to go above and the other is going to go below. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of surgery here. And I want to get that one pink thread through. And again, I want to tie this where the first time I had this thread on top, and the second time I have the other thread on top. It helps secure it a little bit more, but I'm also, when I trim this, I am going to put a little dab of glue on it. This middle, this pink pair, I'm going to send them through this pinhole. I'm going to reuse this pinhole. And now this last pair, you could do two things. Let me grab my pin pusher again off the floor. Okay. You can reuse this pin on the end, or you can send it over your working pair that you used here. You can send one under and one over and do a little bit of well, surgery. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim this, and I just want to make sure that they're staggered, and then I can just tie a knot on. And now I can trim these, and after I trim, I'm going to trim them really close. I'll put a dab of glue, and then I'm going to spray my whole cloud with a stiffener. And once that's dry, then I can take it off.